After spending the last 2 weeks in this amazing country, it's time for me to bid farewell to Thailand and make my way down to Malaysia.
This is by far the most spectacular temple I've ever seen.
They say all good things must come to an end. However, I say this is just the beginning of my adventure with Thailand, and I know I'll be back here soon enough. So we'll jump into the video today, where I'm currently in Ao Nang, waiting for my taxi to head off to the airport.
Okay, greetings out there, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, the Thailand leg of my adventure has come to an end. So today we have an AirAsia flight to take me down to Kuala Lumpur. It should only be about an hour and 10 minutes. I haven't flown with AirAsia in almost a year. I think it was October last year when I flew Singapore to Kuala Lumpur. And I quite liked it. I quite liked their service. So I am looking forward to flying with them today. So I'm just about to get picked up from a private taxi to take me to the Krabi airport, which is roughly about a 45-minute to an hour's drive, just depends. But anyways, I think my private taxi is almost here, so I better get myself downstairs. It's a shame, don't really want to leave here, but the journey must continue in Malaysia. Let's get going.
The hour drive up to Krabi airport set me back 500 baht, or about 21 Aussie dollars, which if you compare that back to the Ubers in Australia, I think I'd be forking out well over 100 bucks for this kind of distance. But check out this scenery. I didn't get to see the mountains on the way in a week ago as I arrived well into the night, but it's certainly a nice farewell to this beautiful country.
Alright guys, just arrived at the airport. Suppose we'll check in and get going, get through security. Alright.
Once through security, I was keen for a drink, so after passing by some shops, I settled in at a coffee shop until closer to boarding time. Now Krabi Airport is considered the 6th busiest airport in the country after Koh Samui. There are 9 airlines which fly in and out of Krabi, majority of which are domestic flights. However, there are a few international flights, including mine today with AirAsia. So today's flight is on AK869 on an Airbus A320 aircraft with the seating in a typical 3x3 layout with leather seats. So today I'm sitting in a standard seat, which is a pitch of 28 inches and between 16 to 17 inches of width. Overall, it's relatively comfortable, however the legroom isn't really the best. So unfortunately, we're about 50 minutes behind today, as this aircraft was placed into a holding pattern for about 40 minutes prior to touchdown. Now this was due to bad weather and low visibility near the airport today, and from the sounds of things, we could be expecting a few bumps after takeoff. So I've also noticed on this flight that I can connect to the AirAsia free Wi-Fi, and selecting this one, it brings you to the AirAsia Wi-Fi page. From here, there is general entertainment, flight status, and you can order from the online store. But as it's time for pushback, let's enjoy the takeoff and potentially a few bumps on the way up. Today, we're expecting a 1 hour and 13-minute flight to cover the distance of 667 kilometers down to Kuala Lumpur. So the weather is supposed to be much better in KL today, so I'm looking forward to that. So as expected, it's slightly bumpy on the ascent today, however I was certainly expecting it to be much more turbulent with all these clouds around. But to be honest, it's not too bad at all. So once we broke through most of the clouds, cabin crew began their service, which is prepaid or buy during the flight. Now they got about 5 minutes into the flight before the fasten seatbelt sign came on. However, they must have known it wasn't going to be overly bad as I continued on. Throughout the early stages of the flight, we manoeuvred around many large clouds, and at one point I saw another aircraft pass by us, which wouldn't have been more than 1,000 or 2,000 feet above us. So I definitely got a close-up of a nice flyby. But once we started to track over North Malaysia, the weather started to improve. Typical, as their wet season mostly falls later in the year. But thankfully I'll be back up this way shortly, as in 4 days time I'll be taking the train to Penang, where I'll stay for a few nights before tracking back to KL and then on to Bali. Overall, I've enjoyed my flight with AirAsia today. It's a cheap and easy way to fly around this region of the world. And today's flight from Krabi to KL set me back 62 Aussie dollars. But as we're nearing closer to landing, let's enjoy the descent into Kuala Lumpur where I'll wrap up the video in the terminal. We are here. Okay guys, I am here in Kuala Lumpur now. Good flight overall. It was quite bumpy for the first parts until we made it over to Malaysia. Well, Malaysian air. Definitely the weather's a lot better down here than it was up in Krabi this morning, but yeah, good little flight on AirAsia. First time I've flown with them in quite some time, but I think I better get myself out of this airport and catch myself a grab and make it into the city. I understand this is probably one of the most distant airports to the city that I've ever been to before. I think it's like 55 kilometers, it takes like an hour. I know you can catch the train, but to me, that's a pain in the ass. It is, I don't know, I just don't like it because then I still have to get a grab from Central Station anyway. So I'm just gonna book myself a grab and make my way into town. But anyways guys, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you could hit the like button, it really helps out the videos a lot. But until the next one, guys, I'll catch you later. And also, big shout out to Ian, who is the passenger sitting next to me today. Good bloke. I wish you all the best on your travels, safe journey, and all the best to you and yours. Catch ya.